I want you to ask yourself a question right now. Why are you here? Not just in this video, not just in this moment, but in this life, in this reality. Have you ever felt that something is missing? Something beyond the surface of what we are told? Something that whispers in the quiet moments of your existence? That whisper is not random. That whisper is the key to unlocking the 33rd degree secret they don't want you to know. Let's begin. Most people live their entire lives bound by invisible chains. These chains are not made of metal. They are made of perception, programming, and fear, the greatest tools ever used to control the minds of the masses. But what if I told you that beyond these illusions, there exists a hidden knowledge, a knowledge so powerful that only those who reach the highest levels of initiation ever come to understand it? You see, the true secret of the 33rd degree is not about power, wealth, or influence in the physical world. Those are merely distractions for the unenlightened. The real secret is about mastery over the self, the realization that the external world is nothing more than a projection of your inner state. Those who hold this knowledge do not seek control over others because they understand that control is an illusion. Instead, they seek to master their own frequency, because once you master your frequency, you master reality itself. The world you see, the struggles you experience, the limitations you feel, they are all constructions of the mind. But who created your mind? Who programmed it? Society? Your parents? Religion? Education? The truth is, you were born into a system that has conditioned you to believe in limitations. And as long as you accept those limitations, you remain trapped in the lower degrees of consciousness. But here's where it gets interesting. The 33rd degree is not a title. It is not a rank. It is a state of being. It is the awakening of the architect within you, the realization that you are not a passive observer of reality, but the creator of it.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
So let me ask you this: if everything you think, feel, and believe was given to you by someone else, then who were you before you were told who you are? Think about it. The moment you start questioning the nature of your own mind, you begin to see the first cracks in the illusion. And once the illusion begins to crack, the light of truth starts to pour in. The truth is this: you are not your mind. You are the awareness behind it. This is the first step toward unlocking the 33rd degree secret. But this is only the beginning. Now that you understand the illusion of the mind, we must go deeper. If reality is a projection of consciousness, then the frequency of your consciousness determines the reality you experience. Most people operate on low vibrational frequencies: fear, doubt, anger, guilt. These are the frequencies that keep you locked in a limited version of reality. But here's what they don't want you to know: you can change your frequency. And when you do, reality changes with you. Think of it like this: a radio can only play the station it is tuned to. If you are tuned to the frequency of fear, you will only perceive a reality that reflects fear. If you are tuned to the frequency of love, wisdom, and mastery, you will perceive a reality that reflects those things. The initiates of the highest order have always known this. That is why ancient traditions across the world, from the Egyptian mystery schools to the Tibetan monks, have practiced vibration mastery techniques. These techniques involve sound, thought, and intention to tune the mind and body to higher frequencies. Let's do a simple test right now. Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. As you inhale, focus on the feeling of expansion. As you exhale, feel yourself releasing all the tension in your body. Now silently repeat this phrase in your mind: I am the architect of my reality. Do you feel that shift in energy? That is not imagination. That is frequency manipulation in action. But here's the deeper secret. The 33rd degree secret is about resonance. When you master your own vibration, you begin to resonate with the hidden structures of the universe. You start to notice synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that guide you toward your highest path. You start to manifest with ease, because the universe is no longer something separate from you. It is an extension of your own consciousness. This is why certain teachings have been hidden from the public for centuries. Because if you knew that you have the power to shape reality, you would no longer be controllable. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you operated at your highest frequency every single day? Think about that for a moment. This is the transformation that awaits those who unlock the 33rd degree secret. But there is still one final mystery to uncover. Now we arrive at the ultimate truth, the truth that the highest initiates have known for millennia. Reality is not what it seems. Everything you experience, your thoughts, your emotions, your body, even time itself, is part of a simulation. Not a simulation in the sense of computers, but a simulation of consciousness, a dream within a dream. The question is, who is dreaming? The answer is you. You are not just the person watching this video. You are not just the body you inhabit. You are the observer behind it all, the infinite awareness that exists beyond space and time. But here's the paradox you chose to forget. Why? Because without forgetting, there can be no journey. Without the illusion of limitation, there can be no awakening. The game of existence is not about escaping reality, it is about waking up within it. Every great master in history, from Buddha to Tesla, understood this secret. They realized that the only way to break free from the illusion was to transcend the ego, the false identity that keeps us locked in the simulation. So I ask you one final question: if you could let go of everything you think you are, what remains? That is the 33rd degree secret. That is the final key. You are infinite. You are eternal. You are the creator of all things. And now it is time for you to wake up. The question is, will you? The mind is a labyrinth, but the walls are made of illusions. Every rule, every law, every structure that shapes the known world is a construct, a framework designed to maintain order. But order for whom? Who benefits from your limitations? Who designed the boundaries of what you believe is possible? The 33rd degree secret is not about symbols or secret handshakes. It is about perception. If your perception is controlled, you are controlled. If your perception is free, you are free. What if I told you that reality is not fixed? That everything around you shifts according to the state of your consciousness? You've seen it before when you are in a state of fear. Everything around you reinforces that fear. When you are in a state of clarity, solutions appear effortlessly. It's not a coincidence. It's mechanics. The highest initiates understand that reality is programmable. Thoughts are not just thoughts. They are commands. Emotions are not just experiences. They are frequencies that shape the very fabric of existence. The reason this knowledge is kept from the masses is because a population that understands it is impossible to control. Look at history. Every empire, every system of governance, every religion, it all comes down to one thing: control over perception. Because if you control what people believe, you control what they create. But there is a way out. Those who reach the highest levels of understanding do not seek power over others. They seek power over themselves. Because once you master your own mind, external control becomes irrelevant. The goal is not to fight the system. The goal is to make the system irrelevant by transcending it. Two people can stand in the same place and live in two completely different worlds. One sees obstacles. The other sees opportunities. One sees chaos. The other sees patterns. The difference is not in the world. The difference is in perception. And perception is programmable. They don't want you to know this. They want you to believe that your thoughts are random, that your emotions are just reactions, that reality is something you passively experience. But those who understand the 33rd degree secret know that reality is something you generate. If you have ever had a moment where time seemed to slow down, where intuition guided you perfectly, where events aligned in impossible ways, then you have already glimpsed the truth. You were not reacting to reality. You were creating it in real time. This is not philosophy. This is the structure of existence. The final gate is perception itself. Reality does not change. You do. And when you do, everything else follows. A system is only as strong as the belief that sustains it. Remove the belief and the system collapses. This applies to governments, religions, economies, but most importantly, it applies to the greatest system ever created, the perception of limitation. The human mind was never designed to be caged, yet almost every thought that passes through it is bound by rules someone else created. Rules about what is possible, what is real, what is worth pursuing. But where did those rules come from? Who decided them? There was a time when nothing had a name. No laws, no history, no authority. Just existence, raw and infinite. Then came the labels. Then came the structures. Then came the walls. And somewhere along the way, people forgot that the walls were never real. The 33rd degree secret is not about hidden texts or ancient rituals. It is about the realization that there is nothing to unlock because the locks were illusions to begin with. The only prison is the belief that there is a prison. Look at the world. Every major breakthrough, whether in science, art, or consciousness, happened when someone stopped accepting the rules as absolute. Everything that has ever been achieved was once considered impossible. Every boundary that exists today will be irrelevant tomorrow. The final gate was never locked. There are no guardians preventing anyone from passing through. There is no test, no initiation, no authority that grants permission. The only thing that holds anyone back is the idea that they need permission in the first place. Reality does not ask, "Are you ready?" It does not check credentials. It does not wait for approval. It simply reflects the state of the mind that engages with it. So the real question is not whether the secret will be revealed. The real question is what happens when there is no secret left to chase. Everything that has ever held power over the mind is based on a single illusion: separation. The belief that there is something outside, something distant, something withheld. But withheld by whom? The gatekeepers? The elite? The universe itself? No, nothing has ever been withheld. There was never a gate. There was never a barrier. There was only the belief that one existed. Look at the structure of control. Every system that seeks to dominate does so by convincing people they are incomplete. Religions say salvation is external. Governments say security is external. Schools say knowledge is external. But what happens when that illusion collapses? The mind has been trained to look outward, to seek answers in books, in teachers, and symbols. But those who reach the highest levels of understanding don't look outward. They generate. The difference between a person who follows and a person who leads is not intelligence, not strength, not luck. It is the realization that nothing needs to be received because everything can be created. The 33rd degree secret isn't about gaining access to forbidden knowledge. It is about understanding that knowledge is not something to be accessed, it is something to be produced. The highest initiates don't ask for truth. They manufacture it. The mind is not a vessel to be filled. It is a projector. It does not receive reality, it broadcasts it. Every great shift in history happened when someone stopped waiting for permission to think differently. When someone stopped looking for doors and realized they could walk through walls. Everything that has ever been called impossible was only impossible under a certain framework. Change the framework, and the impossible becomes trivial. This is why the greatest fear of any system that thrives on control is not rebellion. It is indifference. The moment a person stops seeking approval, stops waiting for validation, stops believing that knowledge is something to be granted, they become untouchable. There is no door. There is no gate. There is only the decision to walk forward. And those who do, they don't find secrets. They become them. Everything that has ever held power over the mind is based on a single illusion: separation. The belief that there is something outside, something distant, something withheld. But withheld by whom? The gatekeepers. The elite? The universe itself? No, nothing has ever been withheld. There was never a gate. There was never a barrier. There was only the belief that one existed. Look at the structure of control. Every system that seeks to dominate does so by convincing people they are incomplete. Religions say salvation is external. Governments say security is external. Schools say knowledge is external. But what happens when that illusion collapses? The mind has been trained to look outward, to seek answers in books, in teachers, in symbols. But those who reach the highest levels of understanding don't look outward. They generate. The difference between a person who follows and a person who leads is not intelligence, not strength, not luck. It is the realization that nothing needs to be received because everything can be created. The 33rd degree secret isn't about gaining access to forbidden knowledge. It is about understanding that knowledge is not something to be accessed, it is something to be produced. The highest initiates don't ask for truth. They manufacture it. The mind is not a vessel to be filled. It is a projector. It does not receive reality, it broadcasts it. Every great shift in history happened when someone stopped waiting for permission to think differently. When someone stopped looking for doors and realized they could walk through walls. Everything that has ever been called impossible was only impossible under a certain framework. Change the framework, and the impossible becomes trivial. This is why the greatest fear of any system that thrives on control is not rebellion. It is indifference. The moment a person stops seeking approval, stops waiting for validation, stops believing that knowledge is something to be granted, they become untouchable. There is no door. There is no gate. There is only the decision to walk forward, and those who do, they don't find secrets, they become them.